He took the higher ground, as it were. So maybe he did, but in reality, well, he didn't win. But we were told he was the only one that could win. Oh, he was going to. Oh, he was still going to, even though he didn't take on Obama in certain areas of what Obama said. He was taking the higher ground. Oh yeah, people are going to flock to vote for him. He's going to win. Well, he didn't win. He didn't win. And now they're telling us just the opposite, although it's the same thing. Oh man, you can't allow Donald Trump to be your Republican nominee because he's the only. We got all these polls out there that are showing that everybody can beat Hillary except for the Donald. Donald is he's so divisive, he's so crass, he's so mean, he's so unpresidential. He says stupid stuff, he says smart stuff, he says stuff that people don't like, he says stuff that people hate. He just talks and talks and talks, and nobody likes Donald Trump. I know he's higher in the polls for the Republican nomination, but if you allow him to be your nominee, Hillary Clinton's gonna win by a landslide. But Jeb Bush, who's waddling in the kiddie pool at 3% and 4%, hey, Jeb should be your guy. And if you can't have Jeb, then it should have been Rubio. And if you can't have Rubio, well, now you're starting to hear people say, well, maybe Cruz is not such a bad. Before, the Republican establishment was calling Cruz a joke. They still hate him. They hated him. They hate Ted Cruz. The inner Beltway establishment cannot stand. Cruz called them out. He called Mitch McConnell a liar on the Senate floor. You don't do that to a GOP established elected official. They hated Cruz. They didn't think they had to worry about Cruz because for a while, in the beginning, through the summer and everything, he was, below 10%. Oh, he can't rise. He's not. And all of a sudden, he's on the rise. And now they're saying, well, maybe he's the only one that can take out the Donald. Yeah, I think look, we hate Cruz, but we hate Trump even more. So maybe we can get Cruz to take out Trump. And if we can get Cruz to take out Trump, maybe we can take out Cruz and put somebody else in there. Look, I understand how they work, but they're always talking. Now they're starting to talk about, well, maybe I can, the insiders, the Beltway Blue Bloods, the Republican, get along crowd, the ones that aren't too much different from a Democrat. They're saying, well, maybe we can accept a Cruz. Well, just 3 months ago, you were just calling Cruz, every name in the book, not a good name. And now all of a sudden he's okay? He's palatable? Really? I'm not buying this BS, folks. I don't know about you, but I'm not buying it. I'm not buying the fact that if Trump gets the nomination, that Hillary Clinton's going to be the next president. I am under the impression that if Jeb Bush got the nomination, Hillary Clinton would be the next president. But so we're going to have to see what happens with the debate. Will I be watching? I will try to catch bits and pieces of it here and there. But I just find it kind of amazing that you can have somebody who is at 40%, but he can't beat the Democratic contender who's not at 40% yet. I don't get it. I try to understand it. I try. But I just can't. Hey, I got a story about 3D printing here. Adidas. Did you know that's how they pronounce it in Europe is Adidas? We say Adidas. In places like Ireland and England and France, Spain, they say Adidas. So Adidas. A-D-I-D-A-S, Adidas. They've just 3D printed a sneaker. I think 3D printers are some of the coolest things, one of the coolest things that man has ever invented. I mean, look, we got some enterprising people that are 3D printing parts to human prosthetics. They're making arms and legs out of 3D printers or from a 3D printer. This is something that isn't being taken. I don't believe it's being taken seriously by the vast majority of people, at least not yet. I believe that 3D printers are on the verge of being the most disruptive technology modern man has ever seen. Think about it. We've got people talking about, well, they're sending these jobs over to this country and this job over to that country, and Chinese factory workers and this worker and this worker is underpaid and that work. Can you imagine if you have a 3D printer at your house and you can start printing out stuff that you want or need? How about printing out certain car parts for your car? Need a new hose? Don't go to the auto store. 3D print it. Need a new clip for something on the car? Some of because cars are made out of a lot of they're not just metal anymore. A lot of composites and plastics in these things. So, hey, you got a particular part, maybe even an important engine part that is made out of a composite system that is metal. Print it. You don't got to go to the store. You print, and not only do you print, you print the exact one that you need, so you don't have to run. Well, no, it's the wrong model. So you got to run back to the store and exchange it. You save all kinds of time. Can you imagine being able to print some of your clothing? Yeah, print sneakers. Yeah, screw having to go to the store and pay those $250 for those Air Jordans. No, print your own sneakers. How about all your dishes, the stuff that your plates you eat off of, your cups that you drink out of. Need it? Break a cup? Don't worry. Just print yourself a new one, so you never have to worry about not being able to match up all the your everyday dishware that you have. Break it. You just print a new one. Exact copies, duplicates. Certain parts for your house. You want to build a house? Print it. Think about that. Print your house. This has the potential, and it will be at some point, maybe 5 or 10 years. But folks, I'm telling you, you better get ready. It is going to be the single most disruptive technology ever invented. You want to talk about jobs being lost? How about all those wonderful toys that your kids like to play with? You don't want to spend $30 on the new Star Wars Stormtrooper guy? Print it. Just print it. Think about that for a second. Christmas, your kid can have anything he wants because what are you going to do? You're going to print it. I don't understand why people don't see the amazing thing and the scary and devastating potential of a 3D printer. Look, you can print an operational, deadly, accurate firearm with a printer. There are plans for people to print guns and not just handguns, but rifles and stuff. Print it. Yeah, I'm just saying, folks. I mean, people. Look, I try to be ahead of the curve on some stuff. I'm not a huge technology geek. Yeah, I like to play with stuff and have certain kind of toys, and I think new technology can be fascinating. But I'm telling you, when it comes to this, now I don't know which companies are going to be the Apple of 3D printers, but I can tell you that the current list of companies that are on top in the electronic world are not paying attention very much to 3D printing. We are on the ground floor. Now, I don't know which of these 3D printing companies, manufacturers, are going to be the new Apples, but there's a plethora of them right now, and one or two of them are going to break free. They're going to be the Apple or Microsoft or Samsung of their industry. Unfortunately, I'm not a guru, so obviously I cannot tell you which one, if they have stock or not, which one that you should go with. I can't tell you which one you should buy. I don't know. But I'm seriously thinking about getting one for myself and just to play with these things so I can have some understanding of this technology. It's just sure there are stuff that 3D printers, at least at this particular point in time, are not going to be able to duplicate or print. But just to look, the Star Trek duplicator, we're a step closer to it. The first incarnation of the Star Trek duplicator, you know, for you Star Trek geeks, right now is a 3D printer, because basically that's what it is. It's a form of a 3D printer on Star Trek. So we're seeing the first incarnation of it. Print it. I mean, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I don't know how much more disruptive you can, you know, people talk about disruptive industries and disruptive companies, you know, like Uber and Lyft. Well, think about a 3D printer going mainstream. It is probably going to be 10 times more disruptive than Uber and Lyft were to the taxi system in this country. The potential is, speaking of Star Wars, by the way, the premiere was over the weekend, last night, whatever. I haven't gone out to see it yet. I thought it was opening on the 18th. Well, anyway, they had the world premiere. You know, it was a big to-do, blah, 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 that kind of stuff, you know, whatever. Everybody, although there is a picture floating around of Joseph Gordon-Levitt going as a very bad Halloween costume version of Yoda. Now, I know he's a guy, but I got to tell you, he was kind of adorable in that stupid geeky costume. It was funny as hell. Everybody else is going in these wonderful, formal, overly expensive, overpriced gowns and suits and tuxedos and all that kind of crap. Some of them look like absolute total, they thought they looked hot and wonderful, and what they were wearing was just absolute trash, but they thought it was high style. And then you have Joseph Gordon-Levitt coming in trying to look like Yoda. That just kind of adorable. He looked like, he's a little guy though, right? He's only like 5'6" or something like that. So he looks like a little kid. So he's kind of adorable. Well, hey, there you go. So you can check out the pictures. Just go online. Just Google Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Yoda. It's a bad. He looks like he's wearing pajamas too. I don't know. Well, but he's not in the movie. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is not in Star Wars, is he? I haven't been really following that close. I don't know who's all in it. As far as, you got some of the stars coming back from the original movies, but I don't know. Yeah, he might be. He's in a lot of stuff lately. I don't know. Yeah, he's got his superstardom. He's an A-lister now. But as it were. Oh, darn, I couldn't even get into the story about Star Wars. Darth Vader is racist. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. For right now, I'm out of time. I'm Rod Eccles. Be back tomorrow. I'm out.